This is Town Crier, dedicated to bringing you current news and events from Keene, Swansea, and Marlborough. And now your hosts of Town Crier.
Good evening, I'm Chris Coates.
And I'm Kendall Lane.
And this is Town Crier. I want to first thank our sponsors, and our sponsors are Savings Bank of Walpole, Ted Shoe and Sport, G Housen Distributors, Kitchen Store, and Monadnock Radio Group Open Mic with Dan Mitchell. So thank you very much for allowing us to do what we do.
No, we really appreciate the sponsors, and they're actually going to make it possible for us to develop a new set. Actually, the one we're using is new from what we were using, but it's a work in progress, and we'll get there. That's
right. That's right. I want to also say start preparing. Start getting to the stores and do what you need to do. Another storm's coming in. What I'll do is I'll go and get the third season of Downton Abbey and start going through that. And
you might as well make yourself comfortable, because Sunday you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, you know, it's just been interesting all the way through. I've started with season 1, went to season 2. It's what I grew up with TV-wise, because I'm so tired of the reality shows. This is the characters and development of characters.
Well, it is, and the interesting thing about Downton Abbey, though, is that you really do have to start with season 1.
Oh, yeah.
Because so much of the plot that happens in the first episode of season 1 is carried forward to what's happening in the third season. And if you suddenly pick it up in the third season, you're going to be scratching your head trying to figure out what's going on, because there are a lot of characters in that show.
And for those that watch the show, I'm really flustered right now because Thomas, who, if you watch the show, you know who he is.
Thomas is a crook.
You hate, but now they're starting to make him good, and it's just,
well, they do make him good, and I think it's a mistake because he really is a lowlife.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's sort of like with the movie Flight and Denzel Washington. I couldn't stand the movie because Denzel Washington's always the good guy for me, and he was such a jerk. Even though at the end he did the right thing, he was such a jerk. Yeah. So, all right, that aside, we've got a lot to cover. We have some people in studio with us tonight, so we got a full show. So let's start off. Do you have any things?
Well, I've got a couple of things. We had a city council meeting last night, and I want to start off with kind of some sad news for me, and that is that June Donegan had to resign from or didn't have to, but chose to resign from the city council last night, and she's going to be really missed. I was very sorry to see her go. That she's been on for 3 years. She has really developed as an excellent city councilor. I always enjoy her because she's not afraid to ask the questions that everybody's thinking but nobody wants to ask.
Right.
And she's not afraid, as we move forward on issues, she's not afraid to just stop it and say, wait a minute, I don't understand why you're doing what you're doing. And it's always been refreshing to me that to have her do that, and I really appreciated it, and I'm very much going to miss her. I had the chance to work 2 years with her as a city councilor, and then 1 year as mayor. I actually promoted her earlier in the year when we had some resignations to make her the vice chairman of the Municipal Services Committee.
Right.
And she was a very talented lady, and I'd always hoped that at some point, if the opportunity presented itself, I'd be able to make her a committee chairman, because she was very strong and counselor, and I always enjoyed working with her.
And you've had it's been an evolving thing. You've had 2 other counselors for health reasons, and because one moved outside of the ward he was representing.
Right. So I've had some changes. When first I had 2 committee chairmen resign, one of them for his health, one of them because he moved, and so I've had to restructure the committees to compensate for that loss. Also, those first 2 councilors had a lot of years of experience on the city council, so that it's tough to replace all that institutional knowledge and stability that's gone. They have good replacements, they both have been replaced by
Dave Curran and Robert.
Dave Curran and Rob O'Connor.
Yep.
But they need seasoning. They need time to develop. They're learning the process. They're learning the issues, and I'm sure that they will develop into very good counselors. And I have to say, there are some individuals who came on, last time around, and when they first came on as counselors, they were a kind of fish out of water, that they really weren't exactly sure what their role was and how to work with when you've got 15 counselors, and they have developed, and I have to give them a lot of credit that as time has gone on that they've been on there, they really have learned and developed as counselors. So that right now we have a very solid council. I shall be interested to see who files. I want to point out that
what is the process?
Anyone, excuse me, anyone who is a registered voter in Keene who lives in Ward 5. Ward 5 is the area along Arch Street and the southerly side of Park Avenue that is interested in serving on the council. The filing period starts March 4th. You would go in and see the city clerk and fill out an application. The filing period ends on March 19th, so it's a little over 2 weeks. And then at the council meeting on the 21st, everybody that's applied for the council would come in. They have the opportunity to speak to the council, and then the council will vote that night on selecting a new councilor. But they will only serve until the next election, which is this fall. So the filing period actually is in August for the council. So they would only serve until the end of this year, and they would have to run again in August.
Right, but it gives them a leg up. And
it gives them a leg up.
It's a critical time because you're in the process of developing your budget.
That's right. We're right in the middle of doing the capital budget right now. The public hearing will be coming up. I think the public hearing is March 7th. I believe on the capital budget, on the CIP.
Right.
And then we will be moving in at the end of April into our operating budget, which
you usually go through the month of May, and then you make your decision
the first
or second week in June.
The city staff will present their different departments in the operating budget to the finance committee during the month of May, and then at the end of the month we'll have a public hearing on it, and then we vote on it in June. If the council will frequently make changes, I'm certainly expecting that there will be some motions made to do modifications to the capital budget, and I'm going to be very interested to see what happens at the public hearing on that.
The Cheshire County attorney's seat has been filled by Chris McLaughlin, a seat that was filled by Peter Heed, and he stepped down to go into private business law.
Yep.
And he also, at this point, so Chris was one of 3 candidates. The county commissioners were the ones that made the decision, from what I understand. And that he'll be in that seat for what, a year and 10 months until re-election?
He'll be in that seat until the election next year in 2014. And either he will run for re-election or somebody else will run, and the voters will then select a new county attorney.
Okay, and he some of his things that he's looking at is the drug court, which is the
and that's something he's
alternative sentencing program.
That's right. That's a new program that the courts have started. It's something that he's very familiar with and that he's very supportive of, and it's a type of diversion program for people that have non-violent drug related crimes, and I think that. Since it's starting up, I think he's a good choice to work on that program.
Right. And just going a little bit down my sheet here, I see that the Colony Mill is it looks like people are starting to get more interest in there, and that's a good thing for the city of Keene.
That is a good thing for the city of Keene. That's a huge commercial space that's vacant, and,
Yes.
and really looking forward to that space being filled.
Yeah, and along with that goes the center of Keene too.
And along with that goes the center of Keene. But I think we, you know, in looking at them, we really need to look at them as two separate projects.
Right. And
I suspect the ultimate use of those two will be different.
Right.
I don't expect them to be combined into a single operation.
And the skating rink, which is proposed for 350 Marble Street, looks like it has some real legs. It looks like it could come to fruition, which would be a great thing for the city of Keene, and we would be able to do away with the barn.
Well, we could. I'm not sure that we'll do away with the barn, but we certainly the demand for the ice time at the fairgrounds will certainly be very different than it is today. I've talked to MEDC, to Jack Dugan, about the ice rink, and I think the next step will be that we will set up a time when a presentation can be made to the City Council to bring the City Council up to date as to exactly what's happening, how it's going to proceed, and if everybody is comfortable with the process, then we will start hiring engineers to start taking a look at the facility. You know, clearly there are going to be issues relating to the roof. There are going to be issues relating to the poles that are holding the roof up that exist throughout the space. I think there's also going to be some issues relating to some environmental issues relating to how we can try to make that an environmentally friendly building when we get done.
Well, I just think if it comes to fruition, that's a great thing, and it also may trigger that Keene State College may go in the direction of putting a team together too, I think, because it gives a legitimate rink where they can skate.
Absolutely, and that's always been a holdup for Keene State and a hockey team, that they really did not have a facility that they could use. And speaking about Keene State, that was the other big thing that happened at the council meeting last night, is Dr. Kahn and Karen House and a consultant came in and made a presentation before the council. Lasted almost an hour. You know, there were a lot of questions, and it was a good presentation about the master plan that the college has done. This will be the third master plan. They did one in 1993, and I actually was involved in that one. I was on the council and was involved in the 1993 master plan. What happened from the 1993 master plan was the Keene State campus really got reconfigured.
And like they started going.
Judy Sternick really was responsible for that master plan when she was president of the college, and Appian, it was a result of that Appian Way finally got closed.
Pushed towards 101.
The campus moved south, pushed toward 101. But it internally restructured the campus so that, in fact, the old tennis courts, the old quad, those really were done away with, and the structure of the campus was changed.
The tennis court, I don't think I ever saw anybody actually use that tennis court. The only time I saw
I learned how to play tennis. I used it all the time.
The only time I ever saw when I was a student at Keene State was when they had some type of festival, and that was where you, if you were of age, could go in. Yeah. I'm just saying.
I tell you, if you were in the community, you use that tennis court a lot. You know, but you know, in the old grape arbor that went, and you know, some of the things that we remember about the campus. But then they did a second master plan in 10 years ago in 2000. I think it was 2004. And that one really solidified the direction of the campus, and some of the that was more programmatic, and some of the programs that the campus was
and
involved
Griffro
in.
was developed that much more, you know.
Yes, and now they're doing another one, and they're involving the city very much in the process this time, which I really appreciate. You know, there were going to be issues about the student population, and not so much an increase in the resident population, but a restructuring of the population, because education over the next few years is going to be much more done online. It's going to be much more computer oriented. People are not going to go to class as such as we have traditionally in college. They're going to do their classes online.
Yeah.
I know my daughter went to the University of Maryland, and her last year, all of her classes were done online. She never saw a professor. That she did everything online. I think one of her professors was actually in Europe during the entire semester.
Which is a dangerous thing, and it can be a good thing because it can broaden the opportunities that they have on. But it, also the interaction that goes on in a classroom,
you lose
the challenging
a lot of
at
that
a college
interaction.
level is completely different than when you're in high school.
Yes, it is.
It's you know, you really can challenge one each other and dig deeper with the conversation.
And there are also going to be issues relating to the footprint of the college and how it's going to expand and where it's going to expand.
Did they talking about the other side of Marlborough Street with Randall Hall and what they're going to do with those?
You mean the other side of Winchester Street?
Winchester, I'm sorry.
Well, you haven't been in Keene long enough, have you? I've
been here all my life.
I mean that's going to have to be an issue that they're going to have to deal with, simply because they're looking at a health and wellness center on Gilboa Avenue.
Right.
So that raises the question: is the campus going to move north toward the center of Keene? Another possibility, as the city is working on the land use along Marlborough Street, will the campus move down Marlborough Street, which sort of keeps it more compact.
Right.
So I mean, those are issues that we're going to have to deal with. I mean, and those raise issues about acquisition of property, and is property going to be taken off the tax rolls? And
well, that's the big. I think that's the big question. Though that there's a lot of positives on building a field house where you could actually have some great community things in the college and the track. All that's great, but you could also, the Colonial Theater would love it because you could all of a sudden have a venue where you could have 3,500 people come and watch a concert, and we could actually draw some different names in than they are able to do now with a 900-seat.
Well, and I think MoCo has looked at it in the past, the possibility of doing something between the Colonial Theater and the Wellness Center,
right,
in that area. So it raises a lot of possibilities. None of them have been resolved at this point. The discussion was so alive and so active last night that I finally had to cut it off after an hour, and I'm going to set a workshop with the college in April so that the council and the representatives from the college will have an opportunity for some give and take and some serious discussion about the future direction of the college. And I am very gratified to the college and very appreciative of the fact that the college is including the city as part of that process.
I think it's something they need to do, and I'm glad they are doing it because it is going to affect. I mean, that's $1 million property that they're going to put a building on, and I'm being nice right now.
No,
it could be actually,
and that's very true.
And that coming off the tax roll, we have. If you look at the city of Keene, one of the issues it faces is it has about 18% of its properties that are non-taxable.
Yes.
And for good reasons, and it serves a good purpose, but also when you put it all together, it hurts us. And actually 18% is actually higher than some of the state average is, which is more closer to a 12%, 13%.
No, and that's very true. And you know, as property comes off the tax rolls, that means that everybody else is subsidizing it.
Right.
And everybody else is paying a share. And even if that property is assessed now as a parking lot, and I think it's paying about $11,000 a year in taxes, the reality is that the potential for that property and the future use of that property would be substantially greater than that. So that we really have to look at that not so much as what it is now, but what its highest and best use is.
Right.
Which is really the way the city has always looked at it. Final thing I want to mention is that I actually got to cast another vote last night. That
Man, you're just like,
you know,
I
I was very concerned when I first went on the city council because I had to give up my vote, and when I first became mayor, I had to give up my vote, and I felt like that really isolated me from the rest of the council.
What was it on? Before you tell me how you voted, what was it on?
It was on parking on Middle Street.
Parking on Middle Street.
That's right. There was a committee proposal for 3 parking spaces on Middle Street, and Middle Street to be 2-way rather than 1-way. The committee recommended that. The committee recommended there be 3 parking spaces on Middle Street, and that Middle Street be 2-way.
And you voted no.
There were other people.
Did you vote no?
I'll get to that.
I'm just trying to figure out how
the opposition felt that there should be no parking on Middle Street and that it should be 2-way. And the vote was 6-6 when it came to me.
All right.
So what did I do? You're on the spot.
I think that you looked at it, and one was asking a little too much, the other one was asking too. I mean, there must be a happy medium in there.
Well, the reality is the original proposal was for 8 parking spaces on Middle Street.
Okay, so you voted yes.
And so I voted yes and supported. I also felt like I appointed the committee, so I felt like, you know, unless there was an overriding reason not to support them, that I would support the committee, which I did.
So all right, I thought. Okay, Unity Housing. You know, there's Unity Housing, which is a housing project that's going to be down on the railroad property area,
in the Cypress Street area,
right near a horse and feed buggy outlet. Is moving forward, and that's a good thing because it's a all accessible housing, and that's a great thing for the citizens, and especially when it's located downtown. And what you guys are going to do with Cypress Street and upgrade it, you're always, if people take the time, drive down Cypress Street. They've already put up the lights, and they're looking good. And are you putting parking meters in there too, or is that the pole signs?
No, I think there will be parking meters in there.
I got a ticket today. Just want you to know. I was upset.
Sorry about that.
It must have been a minute late. You know, but that's what everybody says. That's what everybody says.
And we have some very aggressive.
Yes, you do.
Parking attendants.
Yes, and the co-op is online. I mean, it's right where it's supposed to be in the
plan
build-out.
to open it in April.
Right.
It's really moving forward quickly.
Yep, and so the co-op is right where it needs to be, and they're going to have probably a soft opening initially, and then a grand opening later in the summer. And I think that's a great thing. And I just can't wait because I work downtown.
Assuming they get a building permit.
Oh, yeah. That's always a problem with the city. I also want to say to the girls' basketball team, they went and played Conant, Monadnock Huskies girls team, went down in the second round of the tournament and played Conant. And Conant is like the basketball town of the state of New Hampshire.
You know, it is. I mean, I like to think, you know, when Joey Giovanangeli was coach of the Conant boys basketball team, would they win something like 9 in a row?
Yeah.
The state champions.
And these girls gave them everything they could handle. They actually were up at halftime, and then they ended up losing 35-29. But that's just outstanding. A great year for the girls. I know they didn't have the winning record, but you know what? They played hard throughout the season, and that's what it's all about.
Yep.
Swansea Wickham Hall has been added to the Historic Register.
Yes.
Which is a good thing for them because it makes them available for funding for the New Hampshire Conservation License Plate and New Hampshire Land and Community Heritage Investment Program. LCHIP, thank you. That would have been a lot easier, but people wouldn't have known what I was talking about. And that's good because it was built in 1916, and they want to by 2016 have its 100th year birthday and have it,
But there's some renovation that needs to be done to that building.
That's right.
There's some interior work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to mention, this afternoon I had the opportunity to spend quite a bit of time at the hospital. It was their 40th anniversary celebration.
Yeah, I was supposed to be there, didn't make it.
Of the relocation of the hospital from Elliott Community Hospital up to Court Street. Excellent program, very well attended, huge crowd, and I had a lot of old timers, a lot of people that were active and involved at the time of that it was relocated, but a lot of memories. Really a good presentation. I had a chance to speak at it, and I was absolutely thrilled to do it. Art Nichols, the CEO of the hospital, started out by indicating that while the hospital's been on Court Street, there have been 21,000 babies born there at the hospital. And he indicated that that was enough to repopulate the city of Keene. So when I got up to speak, I reminded him that I was born at Elliott Community Hospital. My wife was born at Elliott Community Hospital. You probably were.
Oh, yeah.
And that we haven't been completely replaced yet. That there are still a few of us that were born at Elliott Community Hospital and haven't been recycled off the field yet.
No. Okay, last thing I have, then we're going to go to our guest in studio, yes. Is that I wanted to, there was an article by Kyle Jarvis week on owls, and it caught me by surprise. I started reading it. It was actually a really good article, and I, you know, hats off to him.
Well, not only hats off to him, but I have to say, you know, a couple of things. First off, you know, my wife came home yesterday, and she had seen an owl down at the end of our street, sitting up in the tree, and I mean, it was huge, and sitting, and she had some pictures of it. And when I was downtown for the, you know, I had stopped to do a little shopping for Valentine's Day, and right outside the Stage restaurant, there were some trees, and there was an owl in the tree, and everybody was coming out from all the shops to take a look at it, to take pictures of it, because it was really quite impressive. So, you know, I'm very sympathetic to the fact that the owl population seems to have expanded, and they're in very visible places, which is unusual. Owls usually are very shy, retiring birds that you don't see, and they're really very handsome. They're very good-looking birds when you see them.
Well, as long as they hang around my house, because you know I have the barn, and the you have a barn too.
Yeah, I have a barn too.
And they can go after the mice. I mean,
that would be fine by me.
Yeah.
That would suit me just fine.
And last thing is Drew Ledwith of Keene, of the Ledwith family, the great swimmers, Keene State College students on the swim team there, doing incredible. And it's just another, it's like a legacy. I mean, the Ledwith family was known for their swimming abilities here, and it's just nice to see that another Ledwith is carrying on. And they, you know, this was the strong swimmers in the day of Jim Wilson and Paulie Strongram, and you know the Keene YMCA. So when the Y was down down below, and you had to walk down into. Wow. So it just it was nice to see an old name. That's a fresh name, doing quite well in something that they were always.
And I have to say, you mentioned Paulie Strongren. I grew up with Paulie. That she was my next door neighbor when we were growing up, and always walked to school together in the morning. Oh. You know, back like when we were in first grade and second grade, third grade.
Pre-mustache.
Definitely pre-mustache.
All right, you want to introduce our guest?
Yes, I do. I would love to. Our guests tonight are from the International Film Festival. First off, we have Laina Barakat, who's the director of the Monadnock International Film Festival, and welcome, Laina. And then we also have Aaron Wiederspahn, who is a filmmaker, has had several years of experience at making film, not only in this region, but actually he came here from the West, and worked out on the West Coast before he came here.
He sort of has a taste of everything, and you'll find that out in a second.
You'll find out in a minute, but you know, I'm thrilled to have you guys here. And first question is, International Film Festival, what is it?
Go ahead, Madam Director.
So it's a new film festival coming to Keene. It's April 4th, 5th, and 6th. It has been in the works for 2.5 years, and it's finally going to happen. It's international. We have films from all over the place. We screen movies from Canada to Turkey to Europe, Africa. We've seen a whole bunch and have a great program selected. A few local nods as well. So it's a bunch of movies strung along a few days. In
fact, you're going to have some of the films that were nominated for Academy Awards for international films. Something we don't normally see here. Right. You normally have to go to a big city to see those films. Exactly. So you're going to be actually bringing some of them in here.
Which are?
Well, absolutely. Well, we're bringing, this year there's a film that's nominated for Best Foreign Film that's from Quebec by a filmmaker named Kim Guian, and it's called War Witch, titled. And so that's and it's a fantastic film, very very poignant story. And so we're very, very excited here because it would never come here normally, or it would be way down the road.
Yeah, it could
We'd have
be
to
a
wait
year
a
from
long,
now.
yeah.
You know, the Colonial does a great job bringing movies that were up for awards, you
like
know.
Lincoln and
exactly,
right.
exactly.
Absolutely.
But now we're getting it. I mean, the awards are on Sunday, and we'll
Right.
have it in 5 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I guess one of my first questions is, you know, tell the audience what is a film festival. What are the days going to look like? So if they wanted to participate, they wanted to get involved, what would they do? Talk about the venues and go from there.
Yeah. So our venues for film, we have the Great Colonial Theater. It is absolutely beautiful. Fits 930 seats. We have the Putnam Theater, which is on Keene State College campus, a little bit smaller, a nice intimate theater, and the Redfern Arts Center, which is right across from the Putnam, also on Keene State College campus, right in between those two size-wise. So that's where all the films are going to happen. And the general layout for films, we have a morning matinee. It's a 10 a.m. film. We have an afternoon matinee at 4 p.m. and then an evening film at 7 p.m. every night. And then we always have after parties. So our first night, which is on a Thursday night, happens at Nicola's Trattoria.
Yeah.
Our second night is at Luca's Mediterranean Cafe, and our third night is at Fireworks. So awesome restaurants. Every evening closes with them. And then we have a headquarters.
Yeah, can I just, after a movie, is there the ability for people to interact or talk about the film or anything?
Absolutely. There's always, you know, as much as, you know, for any filmmakers that we bring in, and we're bringing in several, there are always Q&A sessions afterwards. So that's part of the beauty of film festivals as well. You try to bring in the guests, have them in conversation so the audience can actually get up close and personal and really try to get inside what were they thinking when they created it.
Right.
And that's been a goal of ours for the festival as well from the beginning, is in our selection finding films that we can get either the director here or a cast member or both. And we have quite a few directors and filmmakers and stuff coming along with our films. So it'll be more than just going to see a movie. It'll be not only the chance to ask them questions afterwards, but then even if you are a VIP pass holder, which is a special pass you can purchase, you can go to an after party and, you know, rub elbows with them and chat them up if you want and tell them why you liked their movie or didn't.
and you're also going to have some cast members here, some of the actors who
Yeah, so we have the option, obviously, of talent who were in the films. We also have 2 panels that we have, one on Friday afternoon, one on Saturday afternoon, both 1 p.m. at the Marriott Hotel in their conference room.
Yeah.
The first day, it's on Friday, the first panel, I should say, is on Friday. It's about documentary filmmaking. So we have Florentine Films' Dayton Duncan coming, which will be great. We have a great new filmmaker who's from this region originally, lives in New York now, Alex Malice. And we have Victoria Mudd, who's an Oscar award-winning documentary filmmaker. And then as far as actors go, on Saturday at 1 o'clock, we have our television film panel. And we have
William Sanderson, who you know really came to fame in things like Blade Runner, or he was on you remember the Bob Newhart show?
Yeah.
Well, he made the line famous, "I'm Larry, this is my brother Daryl, this is my other brother Daryl." Yeah, and he's been on Deadwood recently and True Blood, but real veteran journeyman actor. A guy named Allison Miller, who currently co-stars on Matthew Perry's new TV series Go On. So on that. We're bringing in, we're looking at Matthew Gray Gubler, who's on Criminal Minds, which has been around for 8 seasons. And
wait, is he the thin?
Yeah, Dr. Spencer.
Oh, I love him.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic. He's fantastic.
And a few others that we're in the works of as well right now.
And each day, as we coordinate with their schedules, because a lot of these people are shooting and filming right now, so their windows often open a couple weeks before. So we'll be constantly filling in slots and adding as we get closer to the April date.
That's really exciting.
Yes, it is.
I mean, I think first of all, I think what excites me too is you having directors come in and looking at this city. Now, we've had a movie filmed here.
Oh, yeah.
And so, we're showcasing, and I'm biased, but I believe we have one of the nicest main streets, if you look
Absolutely.
at it, anywhere.
Totally agreed.
In the college campus and all that. So that's exciting to me, because for us to market the city.
I hope the sun is shining while they're here.
I know. I agree. We picked the spring. It's a beautiful time in Keene.
Because it can be absolutely gorgeous here, and very attractive for anybody that is thinking about doing some filming.
Definitely.
And I mean, one of the issues when I first became mayor was how do we publicize the city? How do we make the rest of the world realize what a real gem we have in this community? And the International Film Festival is a way to accomplish that.
Absolutely.
Totally.
That it fits in so well to the program that I've really tried to initiate since I've been mayor.
Yeah, and one of our key things was to book it in the spring, because we have Pumpkin Fest obviously in the fall. We've got everybody comes here for
it's very fall centric in the state in general.
They call it, I think, and it's beautiful in the fall. Don't get me wrong; it's my favorite season in general. But the spring is so lovely here, and we wanted to have something not only that is it's so beautiful to show tourists, hey, come to Keene in the springtime, it's gorgeous, but also it tends to be sort of a dip and a lull in local business, and we wanted an event that would bring people here, eating in restaurants, staying in hotels, shopping in stores, to sort of create that boom, because the arts really can stimulate the economy in a great way, especially a town like Keene. And you mentioned the downtown and the way the Main Street is laid out. Keene is really ideal for a film festival, between the fact that it has a college campus in walking distance, it has several hotels in walking distance, great restaurants, and 3 venues that are very large, all in walking distance. It couldn't be a better town for a film festival.
Right. So what if I went one of the shows or the gala? What are their costs?
Yeah, so a regular ticket, if you want to just go to a film, it's a $10 ticket, which is pretty much an average of what a movie ticket might cost. Pretty
Actually,
basic.
I think it's for what you're doing. It's that's a
Not
great,
too bad.
a great
reasonable. Yeah,
and those are our keys, so that your average Joe can go watch a movie and meet the director, perhaps ask a few questions. If you would like to really get the most out of your film festival, you can buy the Film Festival Pass, which gets you into all 7 screenings for $45. So you save a little money there. And if you're really a diehard cinema lover or want to be part of this great event, you can buy the VIP pass. It's a $75 pass, but that gets you into all the screenings, panels.
That's it? $75?
Just $75, and it gets you into every after party. And
Absolutely.
after parties have food, they have entertainment, they're all going to be great. So I strongly recommend the pass. You'll be jealous if you don't have it.
Well, it's very reasonably priced, because, I mean, I've been to a lot of film festivals all around the world, and the thing that I've discovered about film festivals is that they're a great unifier. I mean, because really, like, even when the economy, suffers, movies really don't, because they're still fairly inexpensive. And yet, and before you know it, when you're at a really good festival, you realize that you're celebrating diversity and community in a way that you've never experienced before. And the rich and the poor are there, and every color and belief and passion. I mean, they're all there together watching movies. Everybody loves the movies.
Right. Right. Did you attend other? I mean, Portsmouth has theirs.
Oh,
Yep, absolutely.
And did you attend others to learn as you moved forward through this?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, well, New Hampshire Film Festival is, they're great friends of ours. Nicole Gregg runs that festival. She's a very close personal friend, and I support that festival a lot. I speak on panels there. We've had films that show there. She actually spoke on a panel this past year.
We've had films screened there.
But on our thing, I've been to film festivals in South Africa, Spain, Lithuania, I had stuff in China, all around the United States. And so, when I first moved here, even just as a filmmaker personally, that was the thing is, in my head, I always saw, from roundabout to roundabout, that this community is perfect for a film festival. And so, when we assembled our board, we have one of our board members actually is a part of the selection committee for the Telluride Film Festival, which is one of the most renowned out there. And she goes to the Cannes Film Festival every year. Is a part of that selection and scouting there. So she's on our board. So there's some really good knowledge, and we have Peter Condon, actually, who's over there, professor at Keene State, and he runs the Keene State Film Society and actually books their films at the Putnam. So there's a booking mechanism in place. So we really spent a lot of time trying to bring a strong board together where people had skill sets, where we've got those who are very active in the community here, from businesses to, I mean, our co-chair, Jamie Contois is amazing and fantastic.
Great community organizer.
And then we've got people who know the film. So community organizers, people who actually work in the film industry, people who work attorneys, people who work at colleges, university, trying to bring everything together.
Yeah, and
so we really researched that, because it's really been like three years. There are 3 remaining, myself and 2 others, that are still on this board after 3 years, and that's really is a lot of dialogue, a lot of research, a lot of hopes and prayers, to make this happen.
Yeah. Aaron, I'm gonna digress for just a second. Yeah. You're from out west. You're actually from Wyoming.
Yes, Wyoming was home.
Tell us the story about what brought you to this region. It's an interesting story.
No, well, absolutely. I mean, I grew up out west, and was always involved in the arts, and I loved it. My whole family's still out there, and the whole Cheyenne area. And basically, I ended up getting a contract 5 days. I graduated on May 20th. So remember this. I'd gotten this call, got this like a Peterborough Players. I got this summer stock theater acting gig that took me away. I graduated May 20th. May 25th, I had this contract, and I went out and started acting. So eventually, I meandered my way to Denver and got my first agent. I started out as the actor and was doing theater stuff. Then I went out west to LA and just started exploring the whole industry, and eventually met some folks that brought me out to Orlando, Florida. And I was working and doing freelance production stuff on, I was doing music stuff in a band. I was doing film production, commercials, music videos, all that kind of stuff. And I was running a theater company. And what I did was we produced a play in Florida. There was a Florida premiere of a play that won the 1996 National Play Award. So we flew the playwright down to see the premiere of this and have him, he does writers' workshops as well. He's very accomplished in the playwriting world. Well, he and I connected, hit it off, stayed in touch for a couple of years, and he's like, you need to come visit me sometime. Come up to we've got a place in the summer. He was living outside of the New York City area, professor at Drew University. He said, you need to come up and visit my summer place, which is off Granite Lake in Nelson. So I came up, I visited him, and we started talking about forming a company, film company, and long short of it is we one day took a little stroll down the streets of Peterborough, and we knew we were going to launch the company, and I fell in love with that at the time, and I said, this is it. So we decided to film the movie there, put that all in place, and I did my first feature film in Peterborough. Well, along the ways, I ended up marrying his daughter. Well, fell in love with the region here, and decided to settle that I wanted to have my film company here. I wanted to live here, and we all moved here full time. And so now, I have children here, and they're all in the Keene school system. And the funniest part of the story that you don't know as well is that right after I did that film, we received a letter from a gal who was just graduating from a college down in Florida, who had seen my film and wanted to be an intern for a film company, et cetera, et cetera. And so she came up to be an intern as we were doing a publicity launch. And that person is this gal right here.
Oh, really?
And now she's ended up saying, how many years ago was that now?
6 years ago.
6 years ago, and now here she is here. She's a producing partner for a new film that I've done, and she's the director of the Monadnock International Film Festival. So that whole journey.
That's
awesome.
I mean, and quite frankly, and that's something that people don't know about this region is, you're a film producer. We also have Ken Burns in Walpole. This area has is an attraction for filmmaking.
Absolutely.
Well, we have
every year Keene State has a program that for filmmaking that they do. And
well, I have a friend who I went to school with, Lincoln School all the way through, Tim Mativier, who was
Tim. I work with Tim all the time. Tim's one of my closest friends. Absolutely. His wife is
Maureen.
Maureen is on our board of directors.
For the
and
Film
Tim
Festival.
Actually, he worked on my film, and we became good friends from there.
It's just and he was one of my best friends growing up Just to see him tell the stories that he's experienced with
he
De Niro and with Pacino and all these guys.
He's in Hawaii right now. He's in Hawaii doing some big movie.
I just saw Maureen a few minutes ago.
She did the catering for the party we just
at the party.
Absolutely.
So it's a small world, and what we don't know is what we have sometimes right here among us.
Well, totally. And this region has a long history of the arts and people coming to find sort of respite and creative space and making art here, from literature and music and film now as well.
Dale Colney, I mean, all that.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, it really is in the soil. They say that there's there is something in the region where it's in the soil, it's in the fabric of really who we are as a people in this region, and as an artist, they're just. I just love it.
That's certainly what Thornton Wilder always said.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, totally.
Absolutely.
And the universities in the state are really taking film more seriously, especially Keene State College. Their film program,
great film
from
program.
when I moved here to now, it has advanced so much. And so they're realizing that students are coming here to study film. And what we want to do, part of the festival, is providing another opportunity for them while they're here, so that they can not only be studying but get some hands-on experience. The film festival is an incredibly great resume builder and experience for them to meet and network and that kind of thing.
And we have the Cheshire Career Center, who's just in the last 3 years put in the whole studios program and
exactly. There's so much here, and the festival offers something for people like us who work here and make films here and are in the woodwork in that sense. But this is a moment for us all to come out. Well,
and look where we are right now. We're sitting here on Cheshire TV, and I mean that really has taken hold in this area, and we're looking at ways to expand it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
That's incredible.
So, go ahead.
No. There are a number of things that you're doing actually before the festival. Some fundraisers. You want to tell us a little bit about what's going on before the festival actually starts?
Sure. Well, we had a fundraising concert that was great. It just happened a few nights ago.
United Church of Christ.
Yeah, and that was wonderful. We had Joe Pug here and Beamon and a local band, Smith and Whedon. Well, formerly local, now live in Providence. We had our launch party tonight, which we had over 100 people showed up at the Marriott Hotel. We had wonderful food and a few speakers, and we announced the programming for this festival, which was exciting, and began selling tickets. A lot of tickets sold tonight, which was really great and unexpected and exciting. And then we will have a few other fundraising events that are in the works right now, but we're basically have a week left where we're continuing to try to get corporate sponsors. That's a way for a business to get involved. We have 47 current corporate sponsors, anywhere from the $500 to $10,000 level, and we have people across the spectrum of that. People can purchase a program ad anywhere from $100 to $350, or you can go online and just donate, because we're operating on a $60,000 budget, and we have about $15,000 more to raise. So we feel great. I mean, $15,000 is a small amount compared to 60, but I'd love to sort of wrap that up in a week or two. And we do have a few other private fundraisers that are coming up, but those will be advertised on the website and on Facebook. That kind of.
Is the majority of the money go towards the entertainer, the directors, the actors that may be coming in, the films, getting them here?
Well, I mean, everything from, I mean, booking, there's airfare, there's travel and accommodations. Although we do have, it's great, Marriott and Lane, Best Westerns, they're all on.
Actually, every hotel in the
they're on as corporate sponsors, giving, providing some rooms for our special guests. But, booking the venues, advertising,
printing,
meals. Yeah, because we've sent out ads in the everything from locally to the Boston Phoenix to Artscope. And we've gone regionally.
$60,000 goes doesn't get that far for an event of this size, but
you're going to find out just how short that is.
I was going to say it covers a lot of different things, including my own salary. So it's a mix of different things.
True. We decided we needed to pay this awesome person to make it happen. Absolutely. The board approved unanimously.
So that's sort of where where it's stretched across. It's a lot of different focuses, but we're looking as much as we can to find in-kind things to match that. So for example, most of our restaurants are not charging anything for the after parties, or we're trying to find people to donate air miles so that we don't have to spend a few $100s on a plane ticket. We can have them sort of sponsor it, that kind of thing.
Where do people get tickets?
Number one way is right online. Our website is monif.org, MONIFF.org. We have a brand new website that Consensus Technology is developing for us right now. It will be launched tonight or tomorrow, basically by Monday. We're just getting the last few kinks out, and you can buy tickets that way. The Colonial Theater is who we're ordering them all through, so you could stop in at the box office, or you could also purchase them on the Colonial's website. And then as we get a little closer, you can get them from a few local places. We're going to try to have a spot in Peterborough, a spot in Jaffrey, so that, you know, if you're not right in Keene and don't want to go online, you could just pick them up from one spot, and that'll all be advertised on the website and on Facebook as well.
Is there a dream of where you want to reach ticket totals wise?
We would love to have 2,000 attendees come total. There are
just this year, or
good question.
How far are we dreaming?
1 million. We have a total of 5,000 individual seats. That's calculating every single seat for every single screening for the whole weekend. So we would love to fill all 5,000 of them. That is my personal goal, but we thought about 2,000 attendees if people attend 2 or 3 events each. That's the number we're looking at.
Okay. Ken Burns going to be involved in this at all?
Yes, he is. Do you want to explain a little more detail?
I will, actually. That's great. So what we've done as a film festival is we wanted to do a few things that were special and specific to the region, to the town, that would be just our staple and have that's a special mark. So we took a look at this, and we ended up creating what's called the Jonathan Daniels Award. Right? So most people know Jonathan Daniels in the region, this martyr, civil rights guy, gave his life, for a very good cause. And we thought, this would be a really cool opportunity to basically create an award that each year will be given to either a filmmaker, an actor, an actress, who either through their body of work or through one particular work feel that it exemplifies the spirit of Jonathan Daniels through their work. So this year, our very first award, we felt it was very, very fitting. The timing of it is perfect because Ken Burns has just come out with his latest film, Central Park 5,
right?
Which is really a fantastic and very, very powerful.
It's got some media hits too.
Moving documentary, absolutely. And so it's perfect that
that's what I'm saying.
He has that now. He's originally from here, and what better way to launch than so with the inaugural year, the first Jonathan Daniels Award will be given to Ken Burns, and he will be present to receive that.
Excellent.
And we'll show the film there at the Colonial. It's going to be it'll be a beautiful night.
Yeah, that'll be our very last film. So Saturday April 6th at 7 p.m. with an after party at fireworks to follow. So we're happy to have him with us.
Wonderful. Are you going to do any red carpets or?
Oh yeah, we have a wonderful company called Glass and Gear. They're sort of the #1 rental company in the state. Most of the Keene State College students rent their cameras and lighting packages and stuff from them. It's a husband and wife couple, and Robert Daniel, who is the husband of the two, he has tons and tons of experience with red carpet events, and he's done events at Sundance and Cannes, and is a huge production person himself, his own background, and so they're coming in with all their amazing gear and lights and everything, and sort of pimping out every venue. And we went to the Colonial.
They're the masters of the vibe for this year's
we called that.
festival.
As I said, I emailed him and I said we really want amazing vibe, and so they're donating over $10,000 worth of equipment. They're coming for the whole weekend, and they're going to make it amazing. Wow. And we walked around with him, and I'm thinking like, I'd just like him to get a few special lights for like some of the venues. Like Lucas said, hey, I want to transform my restaurant. I don't want it to feel like an Italian restaurant. Can we get some like, some cool lights? And so I tell this to Robert, and Robert comes to Keene with Dorothy, his wife. We walk around and we get to the Colonial Theater, and you think the Colonial Theater's pretty much perfect. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. What more could you do? And he's out front there, and he's like, we're going to get some red lights. We're going to illuminate this whole interior part to glow red. We're going to have this thing shooting on the outside in the lobby. And I'm sitting there like, okay. So it's going to be fancy. We'll have Klieg lights, the whole
all very
thing.
exciting.
Mm-hmm. Where do you see this going?
The festival?
And better.
For me, I've been to a lot of different film festivals, but one of my one of the festivals that I love the most that's out there is the Telluride Film Festival. And the Telluride Film Festival in Colorado it's one of the most renowned film festivals around the world. And what makes it different from, say, Sundance is, Sundance is a big market and it's really huge. But Telluride is really all about community, loving film, people coming together, and it's packed with people, but just minus the market, which can become like a feeding frenzy.
Right.
We want to avoid the feeding frenzy thing, and we want to make this a destination where people realize they can come in here, take in historic sites, take in some trails, see great films, eat great food, mix and mingle with a community that's actually a giving community. There's nothing more rewarding as a filmmaker, as an actor and actress, to come into a community where you feel some love and support and it's genuine. Because in this business, you spend enough time dealing with all this stuff you don't want to deal with. And this community, I think, can become a destination and a world-class film festival, and that's what we want to see happen.
Well, you've come to the right place, because this is a community. I mean, and I think we see it through the Pumpkin Festival. We see it through a variety of events over the course of the year, that the community really does work together, and it is a very close-knit community.
Is it first come seating?
Yep. We'll have.
It's important for people because.
No, exactly. For the individual ticketed events, we'll be trying to keep a very close eye as far as only sell a certain amount. So you're not going to buy a ticket and then not get in. But if you have a pass, you've got to get there on time. If you get there late, you may be full already. That kind of a thing. We'll have our comp sections. So. Yeah, that's the goal and that's the hope. The other thing I was going to say is our tagline is "Movies Matter." So as Aaron said, it's all about celebrating film and filmmakers. So we want to keep it as on point as possible, and really keep, not expanding too large to where that gets lost. And we actually got a grant this year through the Greater Keene Chamber of Commerce and What's Keene partnered with us, and we applied for a grant through the New Hampshire Tourism Office. It's called the Joint Promotional Program, which doubles all of our marketing, advertising, and printing budgets, which was significant in our case.
Right.
And the whole purpose of it is to try to create awareness for other opportunities in the state than just the festival. So when you're here, we have a 3-day festival, but on Sunday, where are you going to go? Are you going to drive up to a state park and, go on a trail? Are you going to, snowboard, depending on, weather permitting?
You want green, though. You want green.
Yes. We do, secretly.
You really like flowers.
We would love flowers.
Flowers would be wonderful.
Jamie Contois, who is the chair of our board, co-chair, she is a botanist of sorts, and so she tried to time it as closely as possible to the blossoming of all the white flowers on the trees in Main Street. I think she missed it, to be honest.
I think she's a little early.
Okay, unfortunately, but that was sort of the goal, because it's so beautiful. So yes, we do want flowers, but there's so much to do in this region in the spring, and we're all about really, make it a vacation that is centered around a film festival, but helps you to really take in New Hampshire for everything it has to offer.
And we want to thank also Arts Alive.
Absolutely.
Because they're some of the people that really started pushing a whole different spectrum of how we look at arts and getting it out to the community.
Absolutely. Well, Arts Alive were some of the first people. I sat on the board of directors for Arts Alive for 3 years, and they were one of the first entities that came on board in support of the film festival, and they came on as a fiscal sponsor because we were just getting started and hadn't become a 501c3 and everything, and so they stepped up to the plate to really support us and help get this thing launched.
So real quickly, let's recap. Dates.
April 4th, 5th, 6th.
Tickets.
$10, $35, $45, $75 at the Colonial Theater or monif.org.
And showings are?
Thursday night, 7 p.m., Friday at 10 a.m., 4 p.m., 7 p.m., and Saturday at 10 a.m., 4 p.m., 7 p.m.
And you can buy a VIP for $75 or a $45 to get you into all the films.
Exactly. Yep.
Absolutely.
You got it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming here. It's very exciting. I'm absolutely thrilled for the community. I'm thrilled for the festival, and I'm really looking forward to it.
All right.
And everybody, watch out for the snowstorm.
Yeah, be safe, and we'll see you next week. This is Town Crier with Kendall Lane and myself, Chris Coates.